Good evening, beautiful people. Mark Wilkinson here. Book Club is back 4 weeks after glorious Euros tournament where we could watch football most days, 2 or 3 games some days. It was a necessary thing, I think, for me as well, just to have a nice little break. The England journey was a bonus. I don't think any of us expected to get to the final. It was great that we did, but certainly I decided not to take on the Euros because ultimately I would lose. So the point is that Book Club took a little pause there for a few weeks, and I've got 4 more chapters to cover, which is going to be chapter 11 tonight, which is Happy here in Life Remixed. Here it is. If you still want a copy, by the way, I've got a few here and I'll sign them for you. Just go to my website, markwilkinsonofficial.com, order a signed copy, and we or the team will send it straight out to you. So it'd be great if you still want to gift it to a friend or something like that. You'd be most welcome. You can get it on Amazon, of course, as well. But if you want a signed copy, you know what to do, right? So post Euro 2020 or 2021 or whatever it is, I dealt with my disappointment of not having tickets. I did have tickets and then they got taken away by UEFA and refunded. So I went and bought a lovely set of golf clubs. But what I would say is that, the whole hashtag Be More Gareth and stuff like that was really cool. We're going to do a few posts in a couple of weeks about what would you say to your 25-year-old self, because I love that picture of 25-year-old Gareth who's just missed the penalty and 50-year-old Gareth with his arm around him. It's a really special image. At the end of the day, I've got plenty of things I would say to my 25-year-old self, and I've put most of them into the book, right? In other news, the audio book is ready, and we're talking to people now about getting it distributed through the publisher and stuff like that. So that's exciting. It's back to work, head down, back to work. Let's get going. And tonight I have a very, very special guest. So Book Club is back, as I've said. Tonight is chapter 11. Chapter 12 next week, I'm going to be joined by a guy called Lloyd Cornwall, who lives down in South Africa, but does huge bookings all around the world. I'm going to do a chapter called Testify. And then chapter 13, Now That We Found Love, I'll let you into a little secret. My good lady wife will be joining me live in 2 weeks' time for a conversation around relationships and love. Don't miss that one. That'll be interesting. I promise you that. Never a dull moment. And then the last chapter is chapter 14, Celebration. So, so it's all good. But I've got a very special guest this evening, a good friend, coaching client, and all-round good chap, DJ extraordinaire also as well. Let me introduce you to Gav Randall. Let me bring him in. Hello, Gav.
Hello, Mark. How are we doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, mate?
Wonderful, thank you. Brilliant.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, very happy, very poignant. Chapter 11, happy. So Book Club being back, obviously we had the little break. The Euros, it is what it is. I mean, ultimately, you're a Spurs fan, so you're used to that, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
You're used to crushing disappointment.
Absolutely, Mark. But it still doesn't make it any easier. Do you know what I mean?
I couldn't resist
the hope that kills you. I know. Trust me, mate. I've heard that with all my mates on my WhatsApp group are all Arsenal except for one who's United. So yeah, I'm not hearing anything I've not heard before, and I won't hear again.
I'll be honest. I didn't plan that. It just came out.
yeah. I should expect it.
Nowhere. Yeah, it just came from nowhere. But anyway, I think if Chelsea are European champions, and I think if England had become European champions at the same time, I think it might have been all too much for me, and I think I might have been like,
that would have just been the ultimate summer for you, though, right?
Yeah, it wasn't to be. But anyway, so chapter 11, happy. Yeah, with the book, I always like to start off with a few little quotes. The three quotes I've put at the start of this chapter. If you want to be happy, then be, by Leo Tolstoy.
I love that, folks, because
I'm coming back to that. Folks are usually about as happy as they make up their minds to be, by Abraham Lincoln. And Eckhart Tolle says, when you complain, you make yourself a victim. leave the situation, change the situation, or accept the situation. All else is madness. Now, yeah, you say obviously, you know, you really like if you want to be happy, then be. And I've said to you before on coaching sessions, you know, we are a human being. You know, you are being a human. If you hyphenate that, you're being a human. You know, you are a spirit, a soul, and energy, and you're being a human. So, I mean, you know, what is that when you, because you have got real resonation with this chapter, didn't you? It's really got to you.
Massively. Like I'd say there's more highlighted. I mean, there's a camera. Like, there's so much highlighted, Mark. Like it's just this unreal. But it just hit me even from the off, even the time.
Oh, look at that! Have we lost Gav? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Is he coming back?
To be, you know.
Gav, you completely stopped there. You completely froze.
Okay. So I'll just repeat what I said. It's absolutely succinct. It's just short, to the point.
Oh no. Oh no, Gav. You're going to need to move closer to the. You're going to need to move closer to the router, I believe. It's the first time we've had this. Well, not the first time we've had this problem, but we've certainly had a few problems along the way. Yeah, I know, Simon. Yeah, it's classic. Look how he's got stuck. Look, I'm going to remove him. He'll come back in a minute. What he was going to say was, he needs to move house, Simon. Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, he'll log out and log back in again. And then we'll get to see him. What I might do is kick him out of the studio. There you go. He's out of the studio. There we go. He can come back. Yeah, he definitely does need to move house, Gav. He's living in southeast London down there, I think. But look, chapter 11 is happy. While we wait for Gav to sort out his internet, chapter 11 is about happy. And if you want to be happy, then be. And certainly that's a great quote, I believe, because so many people are not, you know, so many people spend their entire life not actually being happy, or only being happy at certain moments, or always searching for pleasure outside of themselves rather than actually understanding that like happiness is an inside job. I love the Abraham Lincoln quote. Folks are usually about as happy as they make up their minds to be. I think that's a really important thing. You know, I made up my mind some years ago to be as happy as I possibly could at all times, because I didn't want to waste the heartbeat. Lewis Senior from eColour says, "Don't waste the heartbeat," and I think that's very, very important. Hold on a second, we've got someone back. All right, Gav. I think you might be on mute now. Amazing. Oh, it was all going so well before we went live. Yeah, no, he's logged out again. He's logged out. So Emma asked me, what's been some of your happiest moments? Thanks, Ems. I can see her as well. She's walking the dog. She's walking the dog around the garden. My happiest moments was this afternoon when I was having a walk around with Emma and Frankie around the local neighbourhood. That was my happiest moment today for sure. Let's try Gav one more time. Come on, Gav. Come on, Gav's internet. Hello.
Hello, Mark.
This has never happened before.
I know, this is so interesting, isn't it? It was fine in the warm-up, Mark.
It was fine in the warm-up, and now it's just gone to nothing. So that's not good. But we're going to keep going. We'll keep going. If it doesn't work, Gav, then obviously just jump out, jump back in again. Maybe just set your Wi-Fi again or something like that. But look, let's keep going. As far as the Leo Tolstoy quote goes, as just being happy, be, and the thing about happy as a chapter, you said you highlighted great swathes of it, didn't you? Yeah,
loads of it, and there's an entire page I've almost highlighted there. So the initial quote, I loved all three of those quotes, and then just worked my way through the chapter. The next page, as you can see, Mark's like I've highlighted. An entire page there. So much of it just meant, like, you know, really resonated with me. So Gav, what
was the bit that you read to me before we went live?
Well, there's loads, but I read to you, in the main, we're born out of love, and therefore love is within each and every one of us. So if you truly want to experience true love, look within yourself and you'll find every answer you'll ever need. And that there is like, it's your coaching as well, right, Mark? Is like, it's all within us. Like everything is within us, like the power to be able to feel the way we want to feel and create our own futures. It's just everything there.
I should say as well that obviously I've been your coach probably for since February or so maybe 4 or 5 months. And, Emma, by the way, Emma just says it was worth the wait, Gav, when now you're back. So
thank you,
Emma. Yeah, but so as far as being your coach for the last few months, you've been through some huge changes, haven't you? I know, obviously, I've recommended you read some other books, and you didn't read a lot, did you, since school?
No. And that's always like a little running joke between you and I. It's like 30 years. Well, I've left school like 87, right? So do the maths. And during that time up until now, 2 books, autobiographies of like Billy Connolly and Graham Roberts, Spurs players. So that's really not reading, Mark, is it really? Like, so. And it was just a massive quote that you just instantly, and I love the way you just pull these at the right time, the right quote at the right time. And it was, Gav, you do know if those who choose not to read have no advantage over those who can't read. And I love that one. So you got me reading, and the first book you got me reading as well, Mark. I soon worked out there was a reason why you got me reading that particular book, and it just set me on my path. And I'm on my 4th or 5th book now. I'm reading other bits in between as well, which is amazing, right? I've read twice the amount of books in 4 or 5 months since speaking with you than I have in 35 years, 3.5 decades, Mark. So, yeah.
But you definitely, you definitely, lived that music life, and you were out there doing, not dissimilar to what I've done, because you've read a lot of, obviously Life Remixed as well. Simon wants to know what was the book that I recommended that you read. Are you happy to share it?
Of course, yeah. It was You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and that woman just instantly grabbed me. It's just something about her and her work. Same as there are 4 or 5 different voices that I just feel are like instrumental in what I'm about to do, what I'm doing now, and the healing. And that's obviously yourself. It's Louise Hay. It's Wayne Dyer, and it's Esther Hicks. You're in great company, Mark. And Bob Proctor as well. Like, and yeah, not shitting you. Like, you're my Bob Proctor. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate it. I've actually got a quote from one of my old school friends who's also a coaching client, Penny. And she says, I was looking for Bob Proctor and I found my old schoolmate Mark, and here we are.
There you go.
You know what? I'm on a mission. Now that lockdown is being eased, and we hope we can start doing live events again. Come September, October, I want to be putting on live events where I can invite people along, and we can actually have a day together where we can really connect and I can share some of this stuff with people that perhaps haven't read the book but would like to know more. And so I think it's really, really important. And as I said in here, by the time we get to this chapter in Life Remix, it's chapter 11, so we've done quite a lot of work already. And then the bit I said was, after I'd calmed down my own thinking, I had a period of respite and recovery, and I got myself together. And I also wanted to meet new people. I wanted to attract new people. I didn't want to be in the kind of company that I'd spent the last 20, 25 years in, because, we weren't serving each other. There wasn't enough positives going on. There wasn't enough positive stuff going on. I had a dis-ease and bankruptcy. So clearly it wasn't the right environment for me to be in, certainly at that moment. And I started studying philosophy. I went to the London School of Economic Science in Marylebone, and I started studying philosophy, which I absolutely loved. And I also have to tell you as well that Fred Sirieix was in the same class as me at that time, probably about 15 years ago now. He's done quite well on Channel 4 and that. Yeah, you might know. Fred's done brilliantly. Fair play to him. I will get him a book at some point. But Fred's done brilliantly, and so it was a really good class and a really good thing to do. And I was on my journey already with The Secret, Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, The Way of the Superior Man by David Dada, and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Those 4 books were the things that really started to get me going. And I know that's sort of the path that I've led you to as well. Now you're really getting it, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, first book, second book was yours. Third book was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Poor Dad, Rich
brilliant.
Dad. Yeah. Now I'm on Wildly Superior Man, and my little in between cheeky little read that I've embarked on and listening to at the same time is a Wayne Dyer thing that I'm also doing as well at the same time, about learning about the Tao, which is 81 scriptures, and he's just translating it, and it's just absolutely fascinating. So I'm like proper full immersion, and I sometimes think, really, it's like 5 months, Mark, this is, and I feel like a different human being, and the changes haven't stopped. As you say, we're just warming up,
We're just warming up. And that's the way, I love every day as a school day. We're just using a music analogy for DJing. We are just warming up, we're not at the peak. We're not at the peak of the night yet. We're just warming up. We're just getting going. We're just making things start to happen. When I look at Bob Proctor, who's 86, he's got 36 years on me, and I plan to use those 36 years in a really positive way. Just got to say hi to Jim as well. Hi, Jim. There on LinkedIn. Thanks for joining us. Great to have you here. So we're looking at chapter 11 called Happy of Life Remixed tonight with my good friend, DJ, ex-colleague, and also Life Remixed coaching client. But certainly we get into talking about the 12 universal laws. The thing for me was every time I started to read a book, I got a bit deeper. Each individual time, I was like peeling off a layer of myself, going, oh right, okay, this is like a new thing to learn, and that's life is almost like that. It's just like peeling off the layers each time, and going through. We talk about the 4 seasons of life. Childhood, parenthood, purpose, vision, goals. When we get into our 45 to 65 and being really effective human being and making lots of money and doing lots of great things in the world, and then obviously relaxing and enjoying it and hitting the golf course a bit more when we're older. But one of the things about the universal laws is obviously there's a school of thought that says master the universal laws and you will master life. What did you think? What universal laws did you know about before we met?
Law of attraction, gravity, law of attraction, and maybe other stuff known as other stuff. So,
he's gone again. Gav's internet is a shocker. It's a shocker. I'm going to remove him. It can come back. He can tell me about his experience with the universal laws in a little while. I can see him down here. Don't worry. His internet is a disaster. Hang on. He's back. I kicked you out, Gav.
So I could get used to it.
But the universal laws are mastering the universal laws. So many people would know about karma, for instance, but they wouldn't necessarily know that is the universal law, right? I love the universal laws. I'm going to read through them if you don't mind, just for people. I think it's important. The law of universal oneness. Everything in the universe is connected. Everything in the universe is connected, like ripples in a pond. So if I put out a negative energy, it'll impact on you and everyone watching, and then like a ripple in a pond that will just continue out there. But if I put out a positive energy and I put out a great vibe and people love it and enjoy it, then guess what? Like ripples in a pond, that will also, move out there. And so my mission now, once I understood what my purpose was, which is what we talk about earlier in Life Remixed, about joy, knowledge, inspire, create. That's my personal purpose for the world. Ultimately, I then got into that, and then I could tune into these universal laws. And now all I do is I just go through day by day by day, giving out positive vibes at all times. I make sure that I'm in a positive vibration, because you spoke about the law of attraction. The law of attraction is well known via The Secret, touched 300 million people's lives, incredible stuff. But it goes deeper than that. It goes deeper to the law of vibration, which actually means that everything vibrates. Everything vibrates. Right, even when you're asleep, even when you're asleep, you're on a cellular level, you're still vibrating. Even when you think you're resting on the sofa, you're still in a state of vibration. And you have to choose. You've been given you're a soul and energy. You've been given a mind and a body, and you choose the vibration that you're in. And the law of vibration, yes, Simon, as he talks about waves. I've got to say hi to Angel today. She was saying thanks for all the positivity. We're getting some really interesting messages here. Simon saying this is so interesting. So glad I tuned in. Marcus saying he's going to read Life Remixed. The audiobook is coming, Marcus, very, very soon, mate. Very, very soon. So keep an ear out for the audiobook, and we will actually publicise that in the next few weeks. But so you understood the law of attraction when we first met, Gav. You know, have you learnt more about into the law of vibration and how we vibrate and what we actually put out there?
Yeah, totally. I mean, listening to you and listening to Bob Proctor, who got really good ways of explaining how the laws of vibration works in terms of like, and I love the way that you can explain it to somebody who's never heard of it before. As the transmission tower, we're always transmitting, always transmitting. And it's a vibration. It's so easy. You make it easy to understand, Mark, which is probably why your clients really benefit from your knowledge, mate. Yeah.
Thank you, mate. I mean, yeah, you are a transmission tower, literally. And if you're having a negative thought and a negative feeling, you're transmitting that. And I would pick it up. I would pick up on it, and I would understand it, and then I'd be able to help you with it. Because we have so much stuff that's caught up in our subconscious mind. Our feeling mind, our emotional mind, our subconscious has been in there since we were like, before we could even think for ourselves. It's been in there all this way. And if we're holding on to stuff, and then we just get the same results that we don't want. We keep getting them, but we don't understand why we're getting them. And it took incurable disease and bankruptcy for me to suddenly go, Bob Proctor said to me, your way isn't working, try mine. And I said, fine. I said, fine then. Okay, teach me, and he did. And he did, and he still does. And he teaches me so many great things. And from my perspective,
he's amazing. He's amazing, Mark. His energy, his age. You are going to be the UK's version. Like, that's why I was thinking back then, 5 minutes ago, when he's talking about your friend on the Channel 4 show, that was on your philosophy course. Soon he'll be saying, "Oh yeah, Mark Wilkinson, he was on my course." So he'll be saying what you just said. Honestly,
I just believe I can help a lot of people, and that's my mission now. My mission is to help as many people as possible to be happy, healthy, wealthy, and in a great vibration at all times. And if you understand the universal laws, and I've listed them all in Life Remixed, they're all there. Chapter 11 that we're on, all the universal laws are there. You can see them down the bottom there on the dark text. They're all there. You can Google them. You can look them up. You can find out for themselves. You can get your own version of them. You can get your own take on them. I love this one. The law is what we're talking about. In fact, the law of correspondence is prominent patterns will repeat themselves unless we change them. Yeah. Prominent patterns will keep repeating in your life. And as well as I do, through relationships, through finances, patterns do emerge, don't they? And when you start to actually get those patterns in place, then you can start to do something with them. And he's frozen again, isn't he? Look, I feel like I'm talking to myself sometimes. Dodgy old internet, Gav. I'm kicking him out until I see him move again. But the point is, those prominent patterns will definitely keep repeating unless you change them, unless you do something about it. He's back. All right, Gav.
Yes. Yeah. All right, mate.
Your Wi-Fi.
We'll just plough on. We'll plough on, Mark.
Your Wi-Fi is shocking.
Are we sure it's not StreamYard?
Well, to be fair, it's worked before, but I do believe that sometimes the internet is affected by the amount of people that are online, and if there's a lot of people online, then it may struggle. So
because I'm in the same spot we have our sessions on, and we've never encountered an issue, have we? About that?
No, it's true. It's true. Yeah, Simon says he's going to get us a booster. Cheers, Si. Well, obviously, the amount of boosters I've got around here are mental, but I think Gav, you might need a couple of boosters to be fair. But here's a few other laws. The law of inspired action, which is taking inspired action towards making our thoughts and feelings come true. Yeah, you must take inspired action. And if you're getting caught in negative emotions, doubt, fear, worry, anxiety, any of that kind of stuff, then you're not taking inspired action. So you have to get yourself into that vibration of inspired action to be able to see positive results. And that's how I work with a lot of people, because so many people are trying so hard to get something to work and trying to force something. There's more universal laws. A great one is force negates. You don't need to force anything. You just need to be in a really good vibration, and then it takes inspired action, and things will happen for you. But so many people missed that. It's incredible to me how many people have missed it. I certainly missed it for many, many years. The law of cause and effect. What we put out into the world will return to us, which is often referred to as karma.
Yeah.
Got any examples of karma, Gav?
Loads, actually. But probably a lifetime's worth. But no, I find it interesting, Mark. I've seen like stuff happen around me, like so a friend or people, and I remember a friend and something happened and he'd done something he shouldn't have done, and then within hours, on the way home, he had a little accident, a little prang in his car, and the cost of the damage was exactly the same value as what he had gained elsewhere by doing something he shouldn't have done. And I just was like, wow. And I explained to him, I remember trying to say, if you hadn't have done that, I bet that wouldn't have happened. And he's like, don't talk, started swearing at me. It didn't go down well.
But I
understand. I understand.
Some people are not ready for the message. No. Some people are not ready to take on board this kind of stuff. But I hope. I mean, I work with a lot of people that are 20 to 60. I was going to say 55, but 20 to 60. I've got clients all over the world in lots of different ways. And one of the things I'm very conscious of is the fact that we're all going to end up on a rocking chair. We're all going to end up on a deathbed at some point. And that is not the moment to look back and say to yourself, I could have done it differently. It's really about making sure. It's really about making sure that you can actually do things now while you're here, while you've got time on your side. Like I said, Bob's got 36 years on me, so I've got plenty of time. I'm working, writing more books, coaching, helping people, building properties, doing all sorts of stuff. But the point of it is that, the time is now. The time is now to pick it up and go for it, not to wait around. And then, another 10 years goes by and you think, no, I haven't done anything. And then you're 60 and you can't be bothered and blah, blah, blah. So I think it's really, really important to understand that. And that, again, leads me into the next one, which is the law of compensation. You will always be compensated for your efforts and contribution, whatever it is, how much or however little. So, I mean, it sounds a bit harsh, but Bob's got a couple of things when he talks about the best thing you can do for a poor person is not be one. Now, I know that sounds harsh, but ultimately it's important. It's important to take that on board. Fill yourself up first and then be able to give to other people. It's no surprise to me what Warren Buffett has spent his entire life earning millions and has spent the last 10, 15 years giving millions away, but you can't give millions away if you haven't got millions in the first place.
No, and it kind of lends itself to your teachings, Mark, which is give. Get for yourself, but you can't give. But if you're in the process of giving, and it's also lends into your teachings about money, just keep it moving. Money comes, don't just hoard everything, don't just keep everything to yourself. Be a giving person, and you'll find that the abundance comes to you as well. It's beautiful teaching.
If you think about money like your bloodstream, if you think money about your bloodstream, you don't want it clogging up. You don't want to be clogged up. You want it moving. You don't want blood clots or anything like that. You want your body moving. You want the blood moving. You want it to be healthy. You want it to, and the money's the same sort of thing. It's very much the same thing. But many people give from a place of not really thinking they're good enough. And that's when they give because they think that's how they're going to get people to love them, or they think that's how they're going to get people to like them. And that's a big mistake, and I coach a lot of people with that. And I say, listen, think about the aeroplane analogy, put the mask on yourself first before you even give it to a child. Get yourself right first before you can even, give advice even to a child. So I think that's a really important message for everyone listening, everyone watching, because ultimately that's your responsibility. You can't change other people, you can't change the world, but what you can change is this, and that goes back to the Eckhart Tolle. That goes back to the Eckhart Tolle quote at the start, which is when you complain, you make yourself a victim. Well, don't do that. Leave the situation, change the situation, or accept the situation. all else is madness. When you think about it, there's a lot of madness in the world, right? I mean,
yeah.
But anyway, let's keep going with a few more of these. And at the end of, once I've done these universal laws, I'd love a couple more quotes or a couple more things that resonated with you, Gav, and things that you can grab from the book. So the law of perpetual transmutation of energy is a beauty. Everything in the universe is constantly changing. Change is the only constant. So ultimately, get comfortable. So many people go, "Oh, I don't like change." Get comfortable, because it's the only thing that's going to happen. Everything is going to keep changing, and you've got to be comfortable with that. And it's a really powerful message when you are comfortable with change. I love this as well, the law of relativity. There is no good or bad, but it's simply our thinking makes it so. Because when I had a disease and bankrupt, I thought it was really bad. I was like, this is really, really bad. This is terrible. What a terrible thing to have happened to me. Poor me, the victim, right? But actually, looking back on it, best things that ever happened, because I actually need to change, to think, to listen, to learn, to understand, to read, to understand my role in all of it. But again, it's nothing good or bad except how we think. So if we can think about something, I'll give you an example. When the bankruptcy was a few years after the first hit of the disease, the bankruptcy was almost nothing to me. I was kind of like, well, I feel bad because obviously some people have got hurt and stuff like that. But from my perspective, I was like, okay, dust yourself off and go again, because it was nowhere near as bad as not being able to walk for 18 months. And that is a big connection there. So again, it's all about how we think. Everything is about how we think. 3 more to go. The law of gender. Everything in the universe is composed of complementary male and female energy, referred to as yin and yang. And we've spoken a lot about. I do a lot of relationship. I do a lot of relationship coaching with the masculine and the feminine within all of us, not man or woman. I didn't say that. Masculine. And I'm made up of mum and dad, and so I have masculine and feminine energy within me, and we all do. You do as well. I mean, you've gained quite an insight on that as well, right?
Definitely, Mark. I mean, I know that through the e-colors as well, and through talking to you, I realise that there's, with the empathy and the empathic side of me, there's quite a feminine stronghold in my way of thinking and who I am and what I am and the way I act and the way I behave. It's quite a stronghold of feminine energy in me. So, and it's neither here nor there. It just is, But it's trying to even it up a touch, being awareness is the first thing, and it's something that you've helped me with in regards to recommending, for example, Way of the Superior Man. And it's not about, as you've said, being better than anybody else. It's about being better than a mediocre version of you that existed before you've done the work, right? So amazing stuff, Mark. Amazing stuff.
You've really grasped this, along with many of the other clients that I work with. You've really got this, and you understand that it's part of this journey, You Can Heal Your Life is a great place to start, because let's heal ourselves and let's heal our life. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, start to understand where you're going with the goals and the finances.
Totally.
The Way of the Superior Man, understand that you are a masculine man, Gav, and working out that balance within yourself. The e-colors is a fantastic tool, as many people know that we use that for personality diversity. And you are blue yellow, which is the socializing. Actually, I've got to get it right.
Relator.
There you go. Thank you. Relator. That's it. Yeah. So the blue yellow, but the blue is your highest one, the relator. And that is a real solid empathy for people. You've got loads and loads of empathy for people, which is a beautiful skill to have. It's a beautiful skill to have a lot of empathy for people. It's also something that you can balance out and actually bring into the world in a slightly different way going forward to make yourself more successful, right? Which is ultimately the goal, isn't it? So,
I mean, I just love people. I'm interested in people. I love chatting to people, and I love. I'm realizing, I probably never really realized it properly until talking with you for the last few months, is that I'm an uplifter. I'm an uplifter. So it's just a great journey, Mark, and I'm having a real rounded education in regards to the books that you're getting me to read and things that I'm learning along the way. And there's certain things in this that resonated here. This thing happy, this chapter happy, where I just was like, that's where I want to be. You know, like where you said you was explaining in the book there that how no one can knock you off your path and how resolute you are with your purpose, your goals, and what you're here to do. And I was just like, yeah, sorry, I was going to swear there, but that's a really incredible place to be. That's where I want to be at, you know.
It's taken long and patient effort, though. You know, it's, you know, some people, everyone, the world, they just want everything now, don't they? It's just like buy a lottery ticket, be a millionaire tomorrow type stuff and all that. And don't get me wrong, if that can happen for you, then great. You know, buy the lottery ticket, why not? But at the same time, working and growing and getting yourself to a real positive place over a lifetime. You know, this is the first 50 years of my life, right? And I can put it down now because I'm like, okay, I've done that. You know, I can put the book down, and now I can move forward into the next book and the next book and the next book. Well, and the next book won't be any of my story. It will literally be about you, Gav, and about you, Angel, and about you, Dawn and Simon and Jim, all you people. It'll be about you guys all watching, because I've told my story. It's out. It's in print. It's there. You know, this is how I recovered from a disease. This is how I recovered from bankruptcy. And I'm now more successful than I've ever been in my life in all areas. Yeah. And so that is something worth sharing. And I understand that you've connected with that, which I love.
Let me just, Mark, and it's. Go on,
I was going to say, let me just go to the last two universal laws and then come in with a few quotes on that, Gav, that you've got, right?
Yeah.
The last two universal laws: the law of polarity, which is everything in the universe has an opposite, which is how we talk about masculine and feminine energy, because they are opposite energies within us and within others as well, which is really
night and day. You know, night and day. You know.
Yeah. There you go. And the last one is the law of rhythm. Everything has a cycle and a rhythm. When we come to understand that all things can and will change, we will come to a place of peace when they do. And I love that, because when we talk about the 4 seasons of life, we talk about the 4 seasons of life as childhood, parenthood, purpose and vision and goals, and then relaxing as we get older. We talk about those 4 places. We're going to change for all of those things, aren't we?
Yeah, totally. And everything has a cycle, and it's almost lends itself to what you were saying before about change. You know, there's always change. It's the only certainty. And it's the same with the law of rhythm. You know, everything's always moving, everything's always changing. Everything has a cycle and a rhythm. So, yeah, I remember as soon as I read this, I was onto you like a flash. I was like, Mark, you need to help me learn it. I was onto you like a flash. And I think, Mark, you need to help me learn the 12 laws here, because when you go on to say about once you master those, you master life. And I was like, yeah, that's where I want to be, man. That's where I want to be. So,
yeah, absolutely. I've learned them, and I continue to give my time, my energy to everyone that is listening and watching, and indeed all my clients and everyone that I work with day to day on so many different subjects. I mean, I've got basically about 100 clients in different areas in different ways around the world now, and it's a real honor. It's a real honor that people have read my book and then want to connect with me. So just a couple of other things, Gav, that have sort of resonated with you that you kind of that you want to share.
Yeah, I mean, for a start, like once, I don't think I've told you this before, but this chapter, if a chapter's got a theme tune, right? If every chapter's got a theme tune, the Pharrell song "Happy" is just going around, swimming around in my head, because there's lyrics in that, Mark, that resonated with what you said about how nothing can knock you off your path. You know, you're quite steadfast in where you're at, and it's here comes bad news, talking this and that. We'll give it all you got. Don't hold back. I should warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, but don't waste your time, because I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? And that it's just like how you mentioned here in the book. about just how strong of the mind you are, in no one can knock you off your path, and that's a great place to be, where you can protect your own vibration, you can protect your own feelings and your own thoughts, and yeah, it's fantastic. That's why we want to learn from you, Mark. You know.
Well, I'll tell you what, right? When I first heard "Happy" by Pharrell, probably whenever it was, 10 years ago, whatever. The first time I heard that song, I could not stop listening to it. I listened to that song. I don't know if you remember, there was that video, 24 Hours of Happy, and he actually made a video 24 hours, and you can just watch it and watch it and watch it. 24 hours
different
of this.
People doing different stuff, wasn't it, as well?
It's amazing. I'm not even sure if it's still on the internet. If it is, I'm going to look it up after this. It was 24hoursofhappy.com. And they literally did a 24-hour video, and it was just the song repeated every 3 minutes with a new video and a new thing, people singing all around the globe. And I was hooked. I was like happy. I was like, first of all, brilliant concept. Second of all, brilliant song. And third of all, what an energy, what an absolute energy.
He's proper switched on. He's proper switched on, Pharrell. Yeah. Absolutely,
he's totally in tune with universal laws. In fact, I've just made a record with Kenny Thomas, which is the best record I've ever made, and I can't wait for you guys. I can't wait for you guys all to hear it. I'm actually doing a Mixcloud mix on Saturday night, live from here from the studio. I'm doing that at 8 p.m. On Saturday evening on my Mixcloud, which is Mark Wilkinson Official. Love you guys to come and join us on that one. I will play it definitely once, probably twice. But maybe thrice. We'll see. But the point is when you get into a creative state and you're not worrying, you're not doubtful, you're no anxiety, you feel good, then guess what? That's when you go for it. That's when you start to make things happen. And that's what this whole human being journey is about. Let's be the best human we can be, and let's bring our mind and our energy and conscious and subconscious mind and all our energy to be creative. I've written a book about it. I'll be writing multiple books about it. By the way, Gav, I'm getting some beauties coming in on messages here as well. Simon just says, just like Gav, I haven't read a book for decades. First book on my list to start will be this, Life Remixed. Actually feel really excited. Simon, big love, mate. Big love. That's really cool.
It's good to know I'm not alone, Simon.
No, absolutely. And do you know what? I went through this journey. I mean, Life Remixed is largely about how to overcome a crisis. And I went through my own crisis 12 years ago. Well, 17 years ago. And then again, 12 years ago with the decease and the bankruptcy. And now I've written a book about how to come out of a crisis. And there's a lot of people suffering, in different ways, health, money, all sorts of stuff going on in the world at the moment with all this, pandemic and everything else that's going on. So Life Remixed is a book to help. I hope it helps millions. I hope it helps as many people as possible. But I mean, at the end of the day, those were really, important things that you've shared. Certainly from my perspective, when I started to realize that actually philosophy, religion, science, and personal development, all four of those have started to resonate with me, and I started to watch and learn. I was like, what I suddenly realized was I'm not emotionally involved in any of them, but what I started to realize was that actually all of these things are all the same message. It's all the same message, and it's just packaged up in different ways. Life Remixed is the same message as hundreds of other books and hundreds of other ways, but it's packaged up in my unique way. And why, when I get people coming to me saying, oh, well, it's all right for you to write a book, but I can't do that. I'm like, listen to me, right? You can absolutely do it, and it will be your unique voice. So, I mean, Gav, you've got some goals, right? Do you want to share a few of those?
Yeah, I try. I'm a bit funny with sharing them up because of energy on them and that. But yeah, all right, let's go for it.
This is a safe place.
To start a charity, which ultimately then ends up building a school for special needs kids, because I've got an 11-year-old boy who's autistic, and I know how hard it is for parents to deal with that and the changes, and then to come to terms with it as well. And also, I know how difficult it can be for parents to get their kids the special help that they need, because they're just wired differently, Mark. And going to a school tends not to bring out the best in them. So, and I've seen my boy transform, like from not being able to read at 8 years old to being able to read within 6 months of being at this school. His social interactions have improved, his speech and his language and his whole life. So that's my goal, is to start a charity that can then ultimately build a school for children like my boy. So it's not all about me. It's just, I just want to make other people's lives better, easier. That's one of my goals.
That's your top color, blue in e-colors. You're such a relator. You've got so much empathy, and that's something that's really going to drive you. And that's going to happen for you over the next 5-10 years, maybe. Yeah. But as long as you keep that as your purpose and your vision will happen. And then what I do is I keep you on track doing those little goals. Now, you know that we've spoken a bit about, your credit ratings and how to play with and stuff like that. I mean, this is Life Remixed is an all-encompassing thing where you actually get yourself into a position that actually 10 years ago you wouldn't even been aware of.
Oh, absolutely, Mark. And you know what? It's something Danny Rantlin said about you, really, is like, you don't just talk the talk, like you walk the walk as well. Like every single person who listens to you and who's read your book and is a coaching client and who knows anything about you will be able to turn around and say, you see that guy there? Like, he's not just talking. Like, look at him. Look where he is now. Like, read the book and you can see where he is now. And that's it, Mark. And this is why I love you being my coach, man. And I'm sure all your other clients say the same.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like I should probably just sort of drop the mic then, to be honest. But I do appreciate that. I love it. And I am, I wake up every morning just think of things to be grateful for. The fact that I can do what I do now, and I'm so grateful for it, really is a beautiful thing. And I know that, I know that I've learned some skills, and I know that what's interesting to me is that, you've got this in a good way, and you're really on your journey now. I can give these books or say to people, read these books, get your head around these books, and then let's talk. And they can read these books and just put them down and forget about them. Now, I can't do that. I read the books and I'm like, it's like light bulbs just sort of popping all over the place, like ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, oh, right, okay. So if I do that and that and that and that, so that will happen and that will happen and that will happen. And I just kept going and kept going and kept going. And the results are now are really, visible. And I'm really, again, hugely grateful for that. And for your belief in me and what you've, what you've already achieved in just a few short months, by the way. And when you start to look at your life as like a 80-year, fingers crossed, 80, 90-year piece, even 100-year piece, when you start to look at your life like that, it makes it a lot more, how should I say it? It makes it a lot easier in some ways, because ultimately the definition of a genius in Think and Grow Rich is someone who has lifted off like an aeroplane above the ground, above all the hubbub and all the noise and all the, he said, she said, and but I've left all of that behind. I'm not interested. I'm really not interested in that. All that noise, people talking about other people, and I'm not interested. It does nothing for me. I talk about ideas, and that's the best level you can be at. I want to talk about ideas and how we're actually going to make things happen. And it looks like Gav has frozen one more time. Oh, I do love his internet. He's going out and he's going to come back, I'm sure, in a minute. I want to say thank you to every single one of you for being tonight, and all the interaction is marvelous. It's really, really cool. I want to say hi to Angelica, Sean, and Cheryl, all watching as well. Loads of you guys getting in touch and sending me messages. It's very, very important that we talk about this kind of stuff. Hang on, he's back. I'll kick that one out of the studio and I'll bring him back here. Hang on, he's back. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. I can't apologise enough.
You need to go and stick 50p in the meter, mate. That's what you need to do. But yeah, Simon's saying he's totally inspired. Calvin's saying, Mark, he's a legend. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. It's very nice. That's very nice of you. I did interview Fatboy Slim the other week. That was a great interview. And you can watch all of these back on my YouTube channel, of course, as well. Is there anything else that was sort of in the chapter before we get to the remix opportunities, Gav? Is there anything else that you wanted?
It's quite a few bits. It's like when you said the penny drop for you, you realised each time you read a book, which is just what we was talking about, he was going a bit deeper and getting closer each time to your true self. And by doing so, I unearthed basic wisdom and happiness within myself. And you realise that they were right. All the answers I ever had been searching for were already within me. That's a massive. That was one of the bits I highlighted.
When I used to hear that, the first few times I heard that, when I was still learning, early days, I used to hear people say, "All the answers you need are within you, man." And I'd just be like, I'm like, "What are you talking about? Just tell me what to do." Just give me the other. But actually, the more I unearthed, and the more I was suddenly was like, yeah, okay, I get it now. So go on, mate. Go on. You got some more. Yeah, I think.
I do, yeah, and it's about you not sweating the small stuff anymore, and any problems you're faced with now is just small stuff, and you just love all the time, accepting everyone, understanding everyone is doing the best they can with the knowledge they have at the time and at the moment. And I know that was a massive one for me early on in our sessions, where I had some old abandonment childhood stuff to deal with, and still am, but that was one of the key things that you said to me at the time was everyone is doing the best that they can with the information they've got at the time, Gav. Like, everyone's doing the best they can. And it just gives you a different perspective. It moves you away from victimhood, and it just gives you a different perspective. And hang on a minute, they didn't know any better. How could they do? And that's big in Louise Hay's book as well, right? Is how can you expect them to do anything different if they've never been taught that? It's a biggie, another biggie, Mark. So
everything I talk about, hang on, is he still there? Everything I talk about is about freedom. I want you to feel free. I want you to feel free. I don't want you to feel burdened by what other people have said or done. I don't want you to feel burdened by that. That there's no point. There's no point in feeling burdened by that. The freedom you need is to be able to just cast all of that off. And it takes time, but cast all that off, get it all out of the subconscious, put in more positive subconscious kind of reading, studying, growing, learning, coaching, put all of that in, and then boom, then you're off. And once you're off on this path, there is nothing but happiness, health and wealth and success. And it's there.
Something you say earlier in the book as well, Mark, is once you lift the lid off of the old personal development journey and stuff, there's no putting that lid back on. That you can't stop once you're on that road, mate. Once you're on that train, there's no getting off. But
the thing with it is, every human being, every healthy human being, is programmed for growth. Every single healthy human being is programmed to grow. So once you start to get interested in all these successful people and all their quotes, you start to go, and you immediately start to grow, and then you can't stop, as you say. If you tried to stop, if you right now, Gav, tried to stop, tried to get off the journey and say, I'm not going to do that anymore, it's a load of old or whatever, you would actually feel deeply unhappy about that, because you'd be like, no, I can't. I'm programmed to grow. I'm programmed to achieve and do the best I possibly can whilst I'm being human here on this planet. And that's what you're committed to now, which I love. And I don't take everyone on for clients. I only take the people on that I see the potential in, that they can do it. It's not, I'm not here to waste anyone's time or money or mine either. And the bottom line is that, you have to be able to start to grasp stuff and then start to take these actions towards it. It might take a while to get momentum, but once you get it, as you are getting it, it's beautiful, mate, and you're on a roll.
Momentum's massive. You know, I've been learning that through you and through Esther Hicks talks about momentum, which is massive. And there's something else as well you say here about one of the things you learned was happiness is our natural state, and yet we as humanity seem to work so hard to not have it. You know, it's so true, Mark, and it's something Esther Hicks and you talk about is quite strong in your teachings, which is source, like really our base, you know, baseline where we could or should be is happiness, just pure happiness, because that's where we go once this lifetime's done and we enter into the spirit side of things again. It's just pure, unadulterated, just warm and happy, and it's love, and it's just like it's the human experience that provides us the challenge, and we get in our own way all the time, and you're teaching us to step out of your own way, you know.
Yeah, because what a waste of time if we if we don't discover this kind of information, and we don't learn of someone, you know, find someone who's living the way you would like to live and then copy them. And that is simple. That is so simple, but so important. So when you find someone who's living the way you would like to live and copy them, and I've had a lot of my clients have said, Mark, you're living the way I would like to live. You know, please let me copy you. And I'm like, of course. You know, come into the group. Let's get going. And you know, we do these kind of group calls as well. We're going to have another one on the 5th of August. But we do these group calls where we're all together. And it was really, the last one was really effective and lovely. And a lot of people learned some really interesting stuff from that call as well.
Yeah. I mean, so that one won the vote, did it? I know you put the vote out earlier in regards to, that one it did it. Okay.
That's won the vote so far, but I'm going to check after the call. But yeah, we'll do it. We'll do the next live remix coaching clients call, I think, on Thursday, the 5th of August. And that'll be a private call with a Zoom link. We'll all be there together, just sharing information and supporting each other, because that's the name of the game, right? You know, if we all support each other, it's like a mastermind group. And there's people that are in this group that are going to be able to add so much value to everyone. And I can't wait I'm going to start to ask people to come in and make short speeches about what they do, so that we can all connect. Any others before we go to the remix opportunities? Is there anything else that's on your mind?
There's something else as well about people can be well-intended and caring, right? Because this is another thing, as you know, that I used to come to you with different family members and stuff, and people can be well-intended and caring and looking out for us most of the time, though they'll be talking from their own experiences, which could be negative and aren't actually helping us move forward, you know. And it's basic stuff that people don't even realize what they're saying a lot of the time, where it can be quite negative. Better to be safe than sorry. Money is the root of all evil. All drive safely, you know. It's all just how people are programmed, and it's there's as much unlearning on this as there is learning, Mark. Really?
Yeah. Well, there is, because there's cultural stuff. There's sayings that have basically caught on in humanity or in the English language and stuff like that. And we export them around the globe, you know, as we do with our language. And the bottom line is that, we've got to be careful with the words we use. In fact, in Buddhism, in Southeast Asia particularly, and around the globe, but in Buddhism, they say it's a sin to waste words, right? Go outside, I don't know, go to the pub or go to the football or whatever, and listen to how many words are technically being wasted by people. It's actually fascinating. I find humanity, I'm amazed by humanity in some ways. You know, some people would just go through life not having the experiences of I've had or that you've had, Gav, and actually having to pick themselves up, dust themselves off and go again. And I think it's in some ways it's a shame, because they miss out, I believe, on some really interesting information and positive things. And our job is not to tiptoe through life hoping to get safely to death. That's not our job.
Great.
That's not our job. No. That's a great one, isn't it? Oh, Nightingale.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But that's not our job. Our job is not to tiptoe through life thinking, I'll safely get to death. No, our job is to step up, do something important, and help as many people as you possibly can actually have a happier, healthier life. Go on. You got a couple more?
It's just things that you said from this paragraph, and it just identifies, Mark, how how we are negatively programmed in lots of ways to say stuff. Like when somebody greets you, you know, and it's like, how you doing? Not bad is the most common answer. And now I've just had to remove that from my vocabulary. It's 100% not bad, or I'm sorry if they're late. Whereas now I'll turn it around. Thank you for waiting for me. I'm not saying I'm sorry I'm late. I'll be like, thank you for waiting for me. And it's just little tricks, Mark, that can just enhance your overall well-being and your just connection to your true inner self, where we are supposed to be happy. We're supposed to be happy to bring it round.
Honestly, if we'd have interviewed you 5 months ago, this wouldn't have been the conversation at all, would it? This is amazing. And I mean, when people ask me how I'm doing, I always say wonderful. And people are like, literally, people are like, I think this geezer's mental. I think this geezer's off his nut, and I'm like, yeah, wonderful, thank you, I'm really wonderful. And then they're like, and then they sort of look at me for a bit, and they're like, and I say, well, literally, I'm full of wonder. I'm full of wonder. What's going to happen in this meeting? I have no idea. Is Gav's internet going to hold out? I've no idea. but it's wonderful to find out, you know. I mean, the other thing, stop apologizing. You know, don't live a life where you need to apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know,
universe always listening, Mark. You know, it's always listening.
Well, your subconscious as well is always listening.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't keep apologizing for yourself. Don't use negative words. Think more positively. Train yourself. Don't think you can do this in a day. You go to the gym 2-3 times a week to get a fit body. You know, you've got to train. You know, you've got to coach. You've got to get yourself moving. But Gav, honestly, you, along with a number of my other wonderful clients, you know, you're definitely on the path to becoming a coach with me in the future, because I know you can help people, because it's very, very clear how well you understand what I'm talking about, because you're putting it into your own, you're applying it into your own life, which is, you know, for me is a beautiful thing to see, because it meets my purpose of bringing joy and knowledge and inspiring and creating. So,
and it's not been long, has it, Mark? Like February.
No. Yeah. 5 months. Yeah, if that. Yeah. So, no, that's cool. Really cool, mate. Really cool. So, look, shall we just go to the remix opportunities? Because we've been here an hour.
Let's do that. Yeah,
we've been here an hour. We've been here an hour. So, the remix opportunities, and funnily enough, I didn't do this deliberately, but I changed my profile picture on Facebook back to this picture. Yeah. That's a picture that Emma took of me when we were down in Somerset at one of her family members. And literally, I just turned around, she took the picture, and she's like, that is just such and I never really.
Great picture. No, it's so natural, Mark. That's what it is.
One of my guys that I've been working with, the guy that I worked with at the Olympic Stadium, Simon says, is that an old DJ photo? No, it's not, mate. If you go to markwilkinsonofficial.com, there's hundreds of photos from the old DJ days, I promise you. But go to markwilkinsonofficial.com to see loads of old gallery photos. That's actually a photo that my wife took of me some years ago. But a guy that I've worked with on the Olympic Stadium and a few other places that I worked as I was recovering from the bankruptcy, he said to me, that picture sums up the entire thing of Life Remixed. That picture there is just natural, smiling, relaxed, happy, calm. And it's and Emma just took it just by chance, just on her phone. But so anyway, look, remix opportunities. We've only got 5. We've only got 5 here, but after each one, let's have a little analysis together before we wind up, Gav. Number one, calm down, speed up.
Yeah, it's massive.
What do you think?
Because I love it, because when it's action, isn't it? And being calm, your thoughts, your mind, just take it easy, like on yourself. Be kind to yourself. It's all the stuff that's in here is like, be kind to yourself, calm down, but then get the action going, get cracking. You know, inspired action. Inspired action leads to your life. I mean, my life now is bonkers in a beautiful way. It is, you know, hour by hour, my diary is packed, just doing things that I love to do, I love to do. And that, trust me, when I've been through some of the rivers of shit and things I've been through previously, I never thought this was
possible. And actually here I am today because I chose to start to believe that it is possible, but I calmed down and I sped up.
And your days are busy, right, Mark? But I bet they're not frantic.
Oh, never. No.
Exactly. And how many people live in like panic-stricken, frantic lives, where they're,
Oh, I just dropped a load of books because I was trying to get to this one. As a Man Thinketh, by James Allen. This beautiful book, right? It's a beautiful book, written 150, maybe more. But the last chapter is actually called Serenity, which you can see there. And I've just highlighted the start of it. And it says, calmness of mind is one of the most beautiful jewels of wisdom. It is the result of long and patient effort in self-control. That is so important. Calmness of mind is one of the most beautiful jewels of wisdom. It is the result of long and patient effort in self-control. And that's what you're going through, Gav. That's what I went through some years ago. That's what you're going through. But what will happen is that goal of building that school to help, children that need it and be able to teach them in a certain way that they can be successful. Because I love this one. If you're trying to teach a fish how to climb a tree, it's going to think it's an idiot for the whole of its life. But if you put it in the sea, off it goes.
Exactly.
So your goal will happen when you're completely calm, and then you take that inspired action. So things are starting to take shape. I know they are for you, which is great. So the next remix opportunity: know, understand, and then put into action those 12 universal laws. Yeah.
Well, know thyself is one of those, right, Mark? I mean, and to understand. And when you can do that, you start understanding other people and their actions. And if it's personal stuff you've been through, once you get to know and you can understand, then you can come to terms with stuff, which frees up your mind. And it's something Louise Hay teaches as well. It's like people often spring clean their homes, but you've also got to spring clean your mind, which allows the good stuff to come, So get rid of all the stuff you need to get rid of that no longer serves you, and allow the good stuff to come in. And that's where you can put into the action with the universal laws. And that's a powerful combo, Mark, once you start putting those laws into action.
And when you can understand and master the universal laws, that's when you start to be successful in life. Many people just do that subconsciously and automatically, by the way, but also there's majority of people that need to understand them and be coached and learn them and stuff like that. But some people, the people that are hugely successful in life, they're already in tune with these universal laws. Absolutely. And they already understand them. Even if they haven't studied them, maybe it's just come down the generations of their family. But ultimately, we must tune into this for us to uplift ourselves to a more positive place. I mean, when you talk about understanding yourself and understanding others, for me, one of those important parts of, along with The Secret and the other great books we've mentioned, was the E colours. Because when you know the E colours and you know that I'm a yellow red, when you know that I'm a yellow red, you know that I love a chat. But I also like to take a lot of action as well. And you know how to communicate. I know how to communicate with you, because all I need to do is tune into this is why we're doing it, and give you the reasons, why, and also tune into your empathy. And I know exactly how to communicate with you to get the best results for you. And that's why we use e-colors early in the coaching as well. So look, 3 more remix opportunities. The third one is love is total acceptance.
Yeah, it's a biggie, right? I remember that was one of the first things you asked me. I think that may have been on the first session. I should look through my notes that I still got, where you asked me what is love, and I was like, oh my God. And I think I even threw back the baby don't hurt me sort of joke that probably everyone says to you when you ask that question. And you was like, love is total acceptance. And I was like, oh, let me just think about that for a minute. It's like, because to say that you can totally accept, it's not as easy as people think. It's really not. It's really not. It's
it's a challenge. It's a challenge. I still have chat days when I have to totally accept me, and I don't mean the way I am in the world, because I have totally accepted that, but totally accepting this molecular structure that I'm standing in. Sometimes I'm like, I could do with losing a bit of weight off there or whatever, But the bottom line is, that's how it is. You've got to keep you've got to keep working at this. It's like if you try and put it down, you'll feel bad, or it will just overtake you, and you know. So it's continual improvement. That's why I go to the gym. Go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week. It's like every time I get a little challenge with something, I'm like, no, totally accept that. It's okay. It's cool. You know, and then we find another solution, or, you know, go to the gym more, or get my bicycle out and go for a quick, you know, hour bike ride. You know, that kind of stuff is about, you know, keeps you moving. So,
And it doesn't rule you out from wanting to change it or improve it, whatever it is, but to totally accept it is the place to start, right? You know, absolutely. Otherwise it's torment. Otherwise, you know, exactly.
Like the Eckhart Tolle quote at the start, and then the next remix opportunity, which I might have borrowed from somewhere else. It says, "You can heal your life." I don't know where I got the inspiration for that particular.
Got a smile on my face as you say that, because that was just that book for me was just a big game changer, and it's a massive game changer.
Yeah, well, it is. You know, a friend of mine gave it to me, 10, 12 years ago. You can heal your life. And I'd done quite a bit of self-development by then. But I took it. I was sitting at the beach, I remember, and I started reading it. And I was just like, wow, you know, what a woman Louise Hay was. Obviously, you know, she's passed recently at 96. Incredible work. And I again, another woman like Bob Proctor, another fellow that I am following in their footsteps. So and then let's leave it with the last remix opportunity, because I think this is great advice for anyone who's watching this, or indeed going to watch it back anytime. Clear your mind, live in the present, and be happy.
Well, what can you say to that, Mark? Do you know what I mean? You can't sum that up any better. That's just what a way to end a chapter. What a way to sum it all up.
Well, yeah, but you know, I make it sound easy. I know, because I've been working at it for so many years. The thing is that it gets easier and easier, and now I don't spend any time, you know, in the negative emotions or worrying about anything, because what's the point? You know, I know that I can handle anything life throws at me. I've had a disease, incurable disease. I've had a bankruptcy. You know, I know that I can cope with anything that life throws at me, and that actually puts me in a very, you know, relaxed, strong position. And when you look at most multimillionaires, they're bankrupt in their 30s. And I suggest you and many other people, Gav, watch what I'm doing over the next 10, 15, 20 years, because we're building properties, we're doing all kinds of stuff. And who knows, maybe one day I'll be in partnership with you, you know, setting up that school, right? I mean, look, you don't know, but anything can happen here. And I think that when we can live that way, and we can be really, really happy in our own skin, then we can start to affect our world positively. And you know, I want you to all just to continue doing that. You know, continue your journey, whether it's with me or whether it's any of the other books that we've been talking about tonight. You know, continue your journey and stay positive, and life works out one way or the other. Yeah. And if we talk about the England football team, they finished 4th in the World Cup, 3rd in the Nations League, 2nd in the Euros just gone. So Qatar 2022, come on, we're going to win it. We're gonna,
yes.
Always believe, Gav. Always believe.
Always. But going back to what you were saying there, Mark, like, clearing your mind is quite an important thing. Because I remember asking you, like, Mark, do you meditate? Like, how do you clear your mind? Because I've got a busy mind, and I'm sure lots of your clients do. And to learn whichever works for you, because some people find meditation quite hard to achieve. And so we all need to find a way to clear our mind and to live in the present as well. So just to sum up what you were saying there, to accept and be present and just take yourself away. Don't go too far into the future, and just don't stop looking back, just like here and now. So, yeah.
I don't do big, long meditations, but I train myself through little mini meditations and through focusing on the dot, which I've probably spoken to you about before. But if not, that'll be our next. All right. But focusing on the dot is really important for me. And I've trained myself to do it. And that's how I'm running multiple businesses and have a happy wife and a happy life and all that other great stuff. So, Gav, just before we finish up, I'll just remind everyone again, on Saturday evening, I'll be doing a Mixcloud live DJ mix on Mark Wilkinson Official, mixcloud.com/Mark Wilkinson Official. If you want to hear the Kenny Thomas track once, twice, or possibly thrice, the new track before we get it released, before we get it ready. If you want to hear it on Saturday night, then that's the place to be from 8 p.m. Until maybe midnight or maybe a bit before or after, who knows. But you've been most welcome to come and join us. And we have a mission that later this year we'll start putting on some live music events as well as some live seminars. So that's all going to be positive. Gav, I really want to thank you for being here tonight. I really am most grateful. Your internet is shocking. However, we styled it out. We were present. We kept our calm. Our calm. You logged in and out about 6 times. But hey, it's all good. I've really enjoyed you being here tonight, mate.
I've enjoyed being here. Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Lovely. And you've been getting some great messages and stuff like that as well. So keep up the great work, Gav. Stay where you are, mate. Stay where you are. Simon's saying, Simon's been very vocal tonight. He says, loved every moment of it. Book being ordered. The book's being ordered tonight. And nice to meet you, Gav, as well. So there you go.
Thank you. Nice words, Simon. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Good man, good man. So, Simon, you can order Life Remixed on Amazon, or you want a signed copy, you can do it on the website, markwilkinsonofficial.com. Apart from that, I'm going to love you and leave you. Gav, stay where you are, please, mate. Guys, listen, take care of yourselves. Watch it all back on the YouTube channel anytime. You can see my Norman Cook interview there. You can see my interview with Chris Lemons from the Last Breath on Netflix. You can see my interview with so many amazing people, DJs, self-development people, authors, coaches, you name it. They're all there. Just go to youtube.com/Mark Wilkinson Official. Do subscribe as well. Get involved. Apart from that, I'm going to say big love to you all. Thanks so much for watching Gav and I talk about Life Remix Chapter 11, which was simply called Happy.
Happy.
Yeah.